guys, it's Lindsie and Kail, and we're back with Coffee Combos. Lindsie, I have so much freaking crap to tell you. And first of all, let me just say that I think the last couple weeks have been going really well because I was really excited to talk to Mackenzie and then Caitlin and Tyler. So I think we're doing all right.
I know. And I feel like, okay, so many people like hearing the cast from Teen Mom, and then we've been getting some tweets and stuff about why I don't have my own guest. And actually Mackenzie was my guest. So I think it's kind of funny, and we're all close to the same age. So it kind of works, you know?
Kareen was your guest too. You really were the one that set that up too. The psychic medium.
Yeah. So, I mean, I just think it's kind of funny. And actually the guests that we have had, we haven't had to like send any request for people to be on our podcast yet. Like we haven't even gotten to that point to where we have to start requesting people, because people have just offered or volunteered to come on or wanted to be on the podcast.
Right. And it just kind of works out. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's not like we're just trying to stick to just Teen Mom cast. It's just, it happened to work out that way. And we're very still new at this. Like this is only our 22nd week of doing this. And we haven't really had a ton of guests really to speak of, just like in the last few weeks, you know, we have.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
And Javi's been on twice.
I was going to say, when people tweet me about like just started your podcast, like listening, I'm like a little embarrassed on how we like started. I know we all have to start somewhere, but like the first few episodes that we were like new to podcasting, and like it was just like super fresh, and like I don't know, I was nervous to do it. I didn't know if I was going to like. It's kind of like radio, and it's like I don't know. I didn't know if I was going to like it, and I didn't know how it was going to go. And now I feel like in like week 22, we're having a great time. We get to have guests. We have like full on conversations, and I love it. And I'm just like, just hang in there. It gets better.
Yeah, I know. And I have been seeing like a lot of people also like from reality TV that have jumped on like wanting to do podcasts since we've started. So, and not just like from MTV, but you know, like just all over reality TV, people wanting podcasts now. So I think it's a good outlet, you know, for people to be able to know us on a different level and hear like real life conversations, unfiltered. I think it's been like a nice change of pace.
Yeah, no, I really like it, and I'm glad that we did it. So,
literally right before you called, I didn't answer because I was crying, and I'm so stupid.
Why were you crying?
Because, okay, I don't know if Lincoln has started to have homework and stuff yet.
Not Lincoln, but Isaac does.
Jackson, like, has just started to have homework, and it's kind of been crazy because to watch his schoolwork come home from school and then the difference in the homework that I do with him, it looks literally like two different students do it. And obviously I know that he is going to do better whenever I help him because it's a one-on-one, you know, interaction versus being in the class with like, you know, 11 other kids. It's going to be harder for his work to be as good. So, you know, I get that. But just since he's been having homework, like his coloring has improved so much, and he had an issue or has had an issue with his fine motor just being a little bit delayed. And I don't know if that was because he was born early or, you know, if it's just he had a delay in his fine motor. But he just finally started writing his name with like the letters going the right way. And so I just like started crying for no reason.
Oh, that's not dumb. You shouldn't feel stupid. You're a mom. I feel like that's something like, I don't know, Lincoln's just a year younger than Jackson, and he has not even started writing his name.
Okay. Well, that at least like, I don't know. And Jackson has a lot of girls in his class, and then had like a lot of girls in his class last year too.
And they
so all these girls.
they're like, learn quicker, I feel like.
Yeah, they just learn quicker. And I just feel like they're so much like more, not like advanced, but kind of, like they just do everything at a faster pace than boys do. And I feel like their names, like when you look at their papers, because I help in his class and, I'm his room mom. And so I go in there and I see, how the kids write, and I see these girls and I'm like, oh my gosh, they look like they could write in cursive at this point. They're 5 years old. And Jackson's C is backward and his K looks like an H and his N looks like, I don't even know what, like an upside down U.
He'll get it. He will get it. Don't stress.
So I just like started crying because he got his, really it was mainly because his C was like from the right place, because he tries to write all of his letters from the bottom instead of from the top. So when he starts from the bottom, it goes the opposite direction.
I'm sure he'll get the hang of it so quick, and then you're not even going to remember that you stressed about this.
I know. He's probably going to be like, you're ridiculous. And I hope he never listens to this.
Well, at least he'll know that you were really concerned and you were a dedicated mom to helping him learn how to write the C the correct way.
I know. I can't wait until Lincoln starts writing his name so that we can.
Oh my gosh. I'm sure it'll be like Lincoln has no desire to write his name. Like he doesn't have a desire to color. Like that boy is a Ninja Turtle and a Power Ranger all day, every day. He doesn't have time to write his name.
He is not interested.
Not at all. So guys, you probably remember when Lindsie and I had a debate about the proper way to brush your tongue and your teeth, which I am totally right about. But anyway, whichever way you choose to brush your teeth, you should be doing it with an awesome new Quip toothbrush.
If you're like most people, you probably don't brush your teeth for a full 2 minutes or replace your brush head enough. Kail probably definitely doesn't. So Quip designed the perfect electric toothbrush, combining dentistry and design to make a better electric toothbrush.
I love my Quip toothbrush, and Quip is a new electric toothbrush that packs just the right amount of vibrations into a slimmer design at a fraction of the cost of the bulkier traditional electric toothbrushes. Guiding pulses alert you when to switch sides, making brushing the right amount of effortless time.
Quip suctions right to your mirror and unsticks to use as a cover for hygienic travel anywhere, anytime. And you guys know that's super important to me. I just detach it from my mirror and throw it in my bag when I know I'll be out all day, because I like to brush twice.
And because the thing that cleans your mouth should also be clean, Quip's subscription plan refreshes your brush on a dentist-recommended schedule, delivering new toothbrush heads every 3 months for just $5, including free shipping worldwide.
Most toothbrushes don't get named one of Times Magazine's best inventions of the year, but Quip did. Find out why. Quip starts at just $25, and if you go to getquip.com/coffee, right now, you will get your first refill pack for free with a Quip electric toothbrush. That's your first refill pack free at getquip.com/coffee, spelled GETQUIP.com/coffee.
Okay, back to the show. Okay, so I need to tell you about my weekend because I don't know why this shit happens to me. Okay.
First of all, Kail, I opened up my phone and was not expecting
First of all,
photo.
Let me explain to you. No, not even just my weekend, my entire week. First of all, before I sent you that picture, which I will discuss in a second, I did receive an unsolicited dick pic on Instagram.
Oh my God.
And so that was where it all started. Okay. That was a couple days ago. Then I go to New York City. The executives from MTV had asked me to be on TRL. So I was like, yes, of course. So Thursday I go to New York. And since the taping for TRL goes really late, like we weren't done until like 11 or 12, I was going to leave Friday morning. So after we film TRL, we go get drinks. And we're walking out to go back to our hotel room, and it's not even that late, like maybe 1 a.m. And I'm on FaceTime with my friend, and I look over, and at this point, it's dark, and I already can't really see that well. So I look over, and this guy is parked in the middle of the street, so not even like pulled over or anything. And I'm looking at him like, okay, this is New York City. Maybe he's wearing like a yoga suit. So I'm like, those like like those stores have them. It's they're kind of like leggings, but it's like a whole bodysuit. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So I'm like, maybe he's like a dancer or something. And then I look harder, and I even just said it out loud. I was like, are you naked? And he just looks at me like a deer in headlights. Dog, you are in the middle of the street. It's not like you are like hiding in the corner or like you have your lights off in the car and you're trying to get dressed in the car. Like you are full on, doors are open and your hang dang is all the way out. Like he only had sneakers on, Lindsie. He goes, yeah, he didn't even answer my question. He goes, you can take a picture if you want, just don't put my face in it. And of course, my friend Becky's right next to me. She takes a freaking picture, and I'm just wondering, like, I have so many questions. Like, first of all, he didn't come off as, like, on drugs or, like, drinking or anything like that. But why, if you're sober, fully sober, and you're naked, and you have a nice car, one, are you not sober? Could you even be driving right now? And two, why do you only have sneakers on? Like, if you're going to be full-blown naked in the middle of the street, why do you even have shoes on? Like, I'm so confused. Why don't you just go like balls to the walls naked? You know what I'm saying?
Actually, the first thing, whenever I saw the picture, the first thing that I saw were the shoes. And I was like, what in the world? I immediately looked down at the shoes and I was like, okay, like, is it because he's wearing like slide-on Skechers or... And then I looked up and I was like, oh my God, his junk is all out. I cannot. What was he thinking?
So I was coming up with scenarios for him.
He wasn't thinking or in his right mind, or he's just a professional flasher.
I thought, this was my theory, maybe he was with a girl or a guy, whatever, and maybe they were doing it and got caught in the act and he had to run out of the house.
Kail.
Or maybe they were doing it in the car and she left or he left. I don't know. But he was parked in the middle of the street, so it's not like he was like pulled over. So, or I don't know.
And who just gets out of the car? Like, who just gets out of the car butt ass naked with...
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like, if that was the case, I would be in the back seat trying to put my clothes on, not standing up in the middle. Like, I was so confused.
But it goes back to your theory. If he was with somebody and then
he like ran out,
got caught, then his clothes wouldn't have been in the back seat to put on.
Well, and then of course, because my friend took a picture, we sent it to like our other friends. And is this illegal? Am I even allowed to like? He said we could take a picture, so I don't know. My friends were like, "Oh my God, is that your baby's dad?" And I was like, "Oh my God, no, he's not in New York naked. Like, I promise that's not Chris."
Kail, do you remember? That's what I said.
You
I was
said
like,
that.
Oh my God.
You're like, is that Chris? Oh my gosh, he looked just like him. I'm like, that's the last thing that we need is for my child's father to be in New York City naked.
And if it was, I mean, I would be mortified. I legitimately had to take a double take. Like, I had to zoom. Trust me, I did not want to zoom in on the photo.
But you're like, is this Chris or no?
Yeah, I had to because it looked so much like him, and like the skin tone and everything was like right on. So I was
the
like,
hair,
oh
everything.
My God.
Oh my, yeah, that was a nightmare. So yeah, that was that.
Oh my gosh, if I would have been there, could you imagine me as straight laced?
You probably would have called the police.
Yeah, I would have been like, I'm going to need you to hold up right there while I dial 911. Please don't move.
Could you imagine?
No.
That's, you know what? And you know what? My fuckboy week doesn't stop there, Lindsie, because you know what? Let me tell you one more thing. So I'm talking to this kid that I went to school with, and he was like heavily involved on campus and like just like a super like cool kid. And we're like roughly the same age. So he slides in the DMs, asked me for my number. I gave it to him. We're just talking, like literally just talking. It was nothing more. I never thought it was going to go any further. However,
right.
He texts me and he's like, in the middle of a conversation, like full on middle of a conversation, is like, I just want you to know that I have a girlfriend. And I said, yeah, that's like, okay, I can respect your relationship. And he goes, well, I didn't, to be honest, here, actually, you know what? I'll read it to you because I cannot make this shit up. So he says he has a girlfriend and I'm like, okay. And I was like, I am obviously going to respect your relationship. And if I would honestly say his name just to put him on blast, but I won't. He goes,
well, tell me how you really feel.
I'm going to tell you I have a girlfriend, but I don't mind. I honestly wanted you for the longest. Actually, my intentions with you were never to be friends. And I said, what? And then he goes, I don't expect you to be single, but I've been full of surprises talking to you today. And I sent the crying, laughing face, and he goes, so ... Okay, first of all, here's the thing. I thought highly of him because he was so heavily involved on campus and stuff and, like, is in a lot of activities, and he just seemed like a really good kid. If you have a girlfriend, do not slide in my DMs because I'm not going to entertain it. I'm going to cut that off. I don't understand why you would think that I would entertain it. And he went further to say that he didn't care if I was in a situation or if I had a significant other, that it didn't bother him.
Well, it's just like completely inappropriate on all levels. And the fact that, like, let's just take out the fact of him being shady, but you also have 3 kids. So, like,
what the hell did you think was going to happen? I don't have time to waste on fuckboys and hookups and... No, like I literally just got done telling him that I am spending the day with my infant. Like, what did you think was going to come out of this?
Oh my gosh. And so, yeah. I mean, I wonder what his girlfriend would think if she knew that. Does she know you or do you know her?
I know of her. And so, like, I've been on both sides of cheating. So I've seen it from all angles. I've seen it from all points of views. And I think when Chris played me as bad as he did, I think I needed to, now I'm looking at it and I'm like, okay, I needed to feel that and to see it to understand what I had done in my past. So I'm almost like, you know, when Chris did all the things that he did, and I would get mad at both of him and the girl, like the girls, because I would be like, everyone knew that he was with somebody, so, like, why would all of you guys do this to me? And so, like, then I was, like, reading online about, like, you know, stuff like this, and they would be like, well, the girl doesn't owe you loyalty. He does. The guy does. So it kind of felt like, yeah, but if the girl, like, as from woman to woman, I feel like they also do. Like, why would you ever put someone else's family through that? And so... for me, I'm not going to go tell his girlfriend because I feel like that's a mess that's, like, none of my business. On the same hand, though, I'm also going to cut that shit off, and I feel like I'm looking out for her, too, because I'm not going to do that to you. I know how that feels. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I just feel like it'll eventually catch up with him, though, because if he did that and said that stuff to you, then he's saying that stuff to other girls.
People.
Like, chances are.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, so
anyway.
Eventually... if the behavior keeps up, then it's just going to catch up with him anyway. So, like, I just say, let go, let God, and
karma is real.
Peace out.
Yeah, for sure. Well, anyways, that was my week with fuckboys and all kinds of crazy nonsense. So, anyways.
All right, guys, let's take a second to talk about one of our favorite things to arrive at our door, FabFitFun subscription box. These boxes are seriously like Christmas every time they arrive because they are jam-packed with full-size goodies that you will absolutely love.
Everything in these boxes makes you feel like you're being pampered. In the spring box, which is for sale now, I got the reversible Rachel Pally clutch, which is gorgeous. And I got Physique 57 massage roller, which I'm totally going to make my kids use on my back. And I'll put them to work. You know, mama needs a break too.
Actually, Jackson used that on my back and on the back of my legs, and it felt really good. I love the Free People Starry eye mask too. I actually sent a picture of myself wearing that mask to Kail, and she probably thought I was crazy because I got my box before her. It's literally like a little spa at home, and the box is valued at over $350, but you can get it for $39.99, which is an awesome deal for our listeners. Sign up for FabFitFun today and get your spring box. The FabFitFun spring box is in limited supply, and these boxes always sell out. Use our code COFFEE to get $10 off your first box. Go to fabfitfun.com to sign up and start getting the box for a life well lived. Use promo code COFFEE to get $10 off your first box. That's over $350 for only $39.99. Go to fabfitfun.com and use our code COFFEE to get $10 off your first FabFitFun box. Back to the show. Oh my gosh. So I've been reading all these comments since, remember you and I talking about you were like, oh, what should I do with Lux's hair? And I was like, don't cut it, don't cut it. And then the next thing I know, he's got like a little top knot, which is absolutely adorable. And I've been reading comments about people saying that like you need to cut his hair or like it shouldn't be up. How do you feel about the people saying that kind of stuff?
Okay, so I'm super frustrated with it because I feel like I love his long hair. And no, I don't wish that I had a daughter because I feel like I've read comments about that too. It's like, oh, you do know you have a son, right? And yes, I know that. But I don't know. I just feel like with my other boys, I kind of waited until they were old enough to tell me what they wanted to do with their hair. And so I don't see why I would I don't see why I would do anything different with Lux just because he was born with long hair and it's longer, faster than my other boys. I should not cut it or I should cut it because society tells me I should cut it. I don't think so. And, you know, Lux's dad had dreads that were down to his shoulders. So it's kind of like, I know that Chris is going to, well, at least I hope, support me in letting, you know, Lux choose whether he wants to have long hair as a boy or short hair. And he's only 7 months old. So I kind of feel like I need to wait it out a little bit longer for him to decide.
Well, and I mean, it's so cute. I mean, he has the most beautiful head of hair. Yeah. He's always had a ton of hair. Like, he was born with a ton of hair. And obviously, you're going to do something to try to keep it out of his face. And it so happens to be a time where the man bun is a trend. So, you know, why not just go with it? Let him have the hair. And if y'all decide to cut it, then you can cut it. But I mean, it's not really anyone's business if you decide to ponytail your son's hair.
You know what's crazy too, though, is I tried to be as like, I don't know what the word is. I try to let my boys be as creative and be who they are and encourage their, you know, for them to be whoever they are, whatever that may be. And when I put Lux's hair up for the first time, even my boys were like, what is that? Why did you put his hair up? Like, he looks like a girl. Like, girls do that. And I was almost kind of disappointed in myself as a mom because I put Lincoln's hair up when it was really long and before we cut it. And Lincoln would always just pull it out. Like, he would pull the ponytail out. So I just stopped doing it. And I never put Isaac's hair up, but Isaac did have long hair before it got cut. So I was almost disappointed because I felt like even my boys know that they should be able to do whatever they want, and a ponytail doesn't make a boy or a girl. So, I mean, I feel like it's kind of an important lesson to my kids too, because I try to explain it to him. You know, he's a boy, and boys can have ponytails, and I gave both of you guys the option if you wanted ponytails or long hair, and you both said no. And I mean, I think they got used to it really quick, and they understood fairly quickly. But it's kind of sad to look at how young my other boys are and how society is already shaping them into what they think a boy versus girl should be. You know what I mean?
Well, I know, because it's even funny if you watch boys color and stuff, they will tend to like stay away from girl colors and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I always tell Jackson, like, you can color with pink, it's okay. Or you can color, you know, with whatever color. Like, that doesn't mean that you're a girl just because you color with a pink crayon, or just because, you know, you want to play with girls if they're playing, you know, Barbie Dreamhouse and it looks like something that's fun. That doesn't mean that you're a girl because, you know, you want to play with girls. I don't know. I just don't like living like that, you know, and I just try to teach him that it's okay. Because there's a lot of boys that kind of, when they get Lincoln and Jackson's age, it's kind of like where they start separating, where boys start like just playing with boys and girls start playing with girls. They kind of realize like, oh, I'm a boy and you're a girl, so I wouldn't play with you.
Yeah.
And I always tell him, I'm like, it's okay. Like, if you want to play with the girls in your class, it's okay. Or if you want to, you know, just play with the boys in your class, it's okay. Or if you want to play with everybody, that's okay.
Right. That's kind of, Lincoln is more like, Lincoln is a boy's, a man's man. Like, he just only wants to play with the boy, only wants to do boy things. And then he's like, and I say boy things, and I freaking hate when they do that. So, you know, he'll be like, oh, I can't be the pink Power Ranger. Or like, if he's like deciding who's what Power Ranger in the house, he only will give me or his godmother pink or yellow because we can't be red or gold or white because they're all boys. And I just get so frustrated because I'm like, it doesn't have to be that way. And I get so annoyed. Isaac understands it more, but even with like the hair thing, Isaac understands that boys can have long hair. But then when I did it to his brother, then it was an issue. I don't know. The whole thing is just so, I don't know.
It's really, I get your frustration because there are some kids that are in Jackson's, I'll say maybe not necessarily his class, but his school, that the boys will only play with the boys and they don't have any, interest in even being nice to the girls or being friends with the girls. And I just don't like it. It's like, we're all 5 years old here, let's just be friends. It doesn't have to be that serious. It's not like, we're like segregated here. I mean, this is stupid.
Yeah, I don't get it. But all I can do is, not that I shouldn't use Lux as a lesson, but I'm going to keep his hair long, just like I did for the other two boys, and I'm going to continue to tell the older boys, this is the same thing that I did for you guys, and when Lux decides that he wants to cut his hair, then it's time to cut his hair. But, I think being able to talk about his hair and it being a lesson kind of all goes in one. So I don't know. Hopefully it'll, I don't know. Yeah, there's just frustration's the only thing that I can think of. And to add like the comments on all kinds of social media, like, I don't know.
I think people just, speaking of social media, there was this woman who messaged me. Like, there was this crazy woman who messaged me. Remember us talking about adoption with Mackenzie?
Yes.
Okay, so in no way, shape, or form was I talking negatively about adoption at all. And did you get that vibe whenever we were talking about it?
No, the only thing that you said was that you personally couldn't do it, but overall, it's a good thing.
Yeah, I think it's a great thing. And I, could see myself being a foster parent and being able to help a child until it could be placed into, a permanent situation. But like I said, I know what my limits are, and I would only want to do what would be fair for the child. And I'm not saying that if I got, a foster child or something like that, that I wouldn't fall in love with that child. I just don't know because I haven't been, in that situation. So I don't know what my capabilities really truly are until they're tested. But I'm just saying I wouldn't just nosedive into an adoption situation, not knowing if I have any type of hesitations, and then go into adoption and then not be able to love that child equally as my own. That wouldn't be fair to the child. And that was my only
point. Yeah, no, I get that.
That was my only point. So this woman, literally a social worker, works for a state, I won't say what state, sends me this crazy message about how, like, basically I should die. Like, actually, she said that I should die.
You're lying.
No. And I'm like, first off, and then she quoted me on stuff that I never even said. So first off, that's wrong. Like, you don't go and quote people and put quotes around something that someone said that they didn't say. So clearly you need to clean out your ears while you're on your way to work. And secondly, I just feel like somebody that is a social worker should not be sending hate messages to people. Furthermore, I go to her thing, I block her, so I've got to go back and look and see what her username is. But I go to her profile and see that she has all of these photos of her doing all of this social work stuff. And then she notoriously comments on mine and your stuff of hate, basically just being a hater, saying anything that she can possibly say negative, she says negative. And she's actually done it on our podcast Instagram, my personal Instagram, your Instagram.
Okay, we need to block her.
I'm just so I did block her. So I just don't understand if you have something negative to say about someone. I wasn't saying anything negative about adoption. In fact, I think it's a great thing. And I think it's a great option for kids and families. I think it's great. And like I said, I could be a foster mom, and who's to say that I wouldn't fall in love with a child that I brought into my home and was able to help. I'm not saying that I wouldn't, because I'm sure that I would love that child, and I probably would fall in love with a child, but I just don't know, because I haven't been in that situation. So I can't, make an educated comment or statement on something that I just don't know what my capabilities are. I know how I feel, but I don't know what my true capabilities are, because I haven't been put in a situation. And
it's
so
crazy to me that I feel like you're getting, well, apparently we're both getting hate on from this woman, but I mean, at the end of the day, we're all different people, and I think there are different families, and if adoption worked for everyone, then I think we would have all adopted. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like for her to come at you for saying something, that applies to just you is kind of unfair. And I think that she should focus on more, instead of focusing the hate on you for saying what you've said and feeling how you feel. You're entitled to feel however you feel. She needs to focus her energy on, instead of that, she can look for families who are actively seeking to adopt. I think that would be a better way to direct her energy, it sounds like.
Well, and part of me really wants to contact the state that she works for and let them know what she's doing over social media.
Does she have her name on her profile?
Like so I looked at her photos, and that's how I found out where she works, because she has like tons of photos doing social work stuff. And she had on like a collared shirt that had where she worked. So I just think it's kind of silly that you would go and start trying to attack someone, or attack multiple people, because that's what she's done. She's attacked you on stuff, me on stuff, whatever. And I just think it's a little bit silly when you have a state job that you're working in social work, which, I mean, it's just a poor reflection of your character to go out and do stuff like that. I mean, I'm not just like actively seeking people's profiles on Instagram or Twitter, Facebook or whatever it is. I'm not actively seeking to attack someone over something that's not even, like, what she was saying wasn't even the truth.
I mean, I think that speaks, what you're saying kind of applies to all of social media in general. Like, for me, if I see something online, or if I hear something in the media, most times I'm going to keep scrolling, or I'm going to have my own opinions or thoughts on it, and then I'm going to keep going. Like, unless something really hits home for me, like, I'm just not going to comment. And maybe it did hit home for her, but I think the incessant, like, commenting, and if she's on mine and yours and the podcast Instagrams, like, that's overkill. It's time to, if you said what you've said your piece, move on. Like, she needs to move on. So I'm glad you blocked her. You're gonna have to send me her username so I can block her too, because I don't have time for, I deal with enough stuff in my own head and my own drama that I don't need someone from the state to be in what, I hope she's not in my state.
No, she's definitely not in Delaware.
Okay, good. So I'm like, that's the last thing.
But I mean, part of me just wants to be like, okay, you know what? Come Monday morning, I'm going to look up the state's number and call them and report her as an employee for going out on social media and doing this kind of stuff. But part of me is just like, you know what? I'm not going to waste my time and effort. I'm just going to say my piece about it to you. Raise awareness about what's going on social media, and just kind of move forward with it and not really worry about her, because she's irrelevant to my life,
Well, I mean, I think if she continues, maybe she'll hear this podcast and she'll know that she needs to back off.
Yeah, maybe she will. I hope that's the message that she gets.
Let's take a second to talk about my favorite skincare routine, BioClarity. You guys have heard me talk about this 3-step wash and how it's helped me soothe and nourish my skin. And I know a lot of people have tried it and are seeing great results too. I just think that good skin makes such a difference in your confidence and how you feel about yourself. So BioClarity helps treat acne and blemishes through a 3-step program. And thanks to their natural ingredients like Floralux, it is soothing and non-abrasive, so it doesn't cause irritation. Those soothing ingredients really help your skin glow.
BioClarity is just a great addition to your skincare routine. And even if you don't have problem skin, it cleanses and has all kinds of vitamins in it to boost your natural beauty. So start a healthy habit and get glowing, clear skin. They're also offering our listeners a really great deal. If you go to bioclarity.com and use code COFFEE, you'll get your first month for $9.95 plus free shipping, which is a $20 savings.
And that's great because it's a risk-free money-back guarantee. So it's a great thing to try because if you're like me, you'll be so happy when your skin starts to look the way you want it to. That's bioclarity.com, code COFFEE. Now we can get back to the show. How do you think that the interview with Tyler and Caitlin went?
I thought it went great. Like, actually, I have so much respect for them. And, you know, they are an adoption situation, you know? I mean, so...
Oh, yeah. I didn't even think, yeah.
You know, so I think what they did, it would be so hard for me. I can't say what I would do if I had been in like one of y'all's situations and had a child so young. I can't say what I would do because, again, I wasn't in that situation,
right.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
So you never know what you're actually going to do until you're placed in that situation in life. You can sit and say hypothetically, oh, this is what I would do, but that doesn't mean anything because you're not in the situation or you don't have the pressure on you to make a decision. So it's easy to like have an opinion, but I couldn't imagine how she felt. But I do think with adoption, with having closed adoptions and open adoptions, I don't even know if I was, you know, placed in that situation to have to make that type of decision, what I would choose, because there's positive and negatives to both sides of that.
Right.
You know, like with a closed adoption, it's almost like, you know, you have emotionally and mentally closed yourself off from that situation and, you know, you try to move forward with your life and let whoever adopted your child be able to move on and raise them to the best of their ability. And you just pray that they're being raised in a great home and that whoever, you know, decide how they were placed, that they were placed like in the best home that they could possibly be placed. But then on the other end, you have open adoptions to where you are allowed to have, you know, a certain kind of relationship, I guess, with limits with this child. And then you see them grow up. And then I would imagine that the constant thought would be, well, what if?
Right.
So I couldn't imagine, you know, how they feel. And I'm sure it's hard on some days, but I'm sure they also feel like they made the right decision because they weren't at a place in their life to be able to raise a child. And then they waited years before, you know, they ever had another child. So, you know, I think that they're very smart.
I did see on the previews for Teen Mom OG that Macy and Taylor are looking at adoption. I mean, I haven't talked to them, but we should try to catch up with them and see if that's something that they're still actively looking into.
So
get like the other side of it. So like Caitlin and Tyler were on, you know, they were placing their baby up for adoption. And then Taylor and Macy would be adopting if that's something that they're actively, you know what I mean? So we should look into that.
Absolutely. I would love to have Macy on here. Actually, there was like a Twitter thread or something like that she was attached on. And a lot of people were requesting for Macy to come on. So we should definitely get in contact with her and see if it's something that she would want to do.
Sure. I have friends that in Las Vegas that they adopted 2 older kids. I want to say they're like middle school age, brother and sister. And they were able to adopt both of them. And they loved it.
Did they have children before them?
No, it's a gay couple, so they weren't able to have, obviously, like, I don't know if they looked into like surrogacy or anything like that. I'm not sure what that process was, but I know that they tried to adopt several times, and then they finally got a brother and sister that were at middle school age, I think.
That's awesome. Now, so Macy and Taylor have
3 kids.
Multiples, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So they have
Jade and Maverick.
Oh, okay. So then they would you said that you just saw the preview that they were looking into it or whatever.
Yeah, that's what it looked like. And I know that they mentioned it when I filmed TRL on Thursday night. They mentioned too, they showed the clip there. That's where I saw it. And it was something about fostering and adoption and stuff. So I'm excited. We should definitely look into that and see. We'll do that. Actually, I really want to talk to her about Naked and Afraid as well. Because that's amazing. Like, I might need her to teach me some survival skills.
I always, like, Will watches Naked and Afraid all the time.
So do me and Isaac. We love it.
He watches Naked and Afraid. Is it called Naked and Afraid XL? Like, where
that's the longer version.
Yeah, that's the longer version. Okay, so.
Right. Naked and Afraid is 21 days. The XL is longer than that.
Well, first of all, could you imagine me being on a show like Naked and Afraid?
Absolutely
like,
not.
No.
Absolutely not.
Could you?
No.
I mean, what would I do? I would never be able to survive. I would just surrender and then just go ahead and like call it quits.
Surrender. I just want to know, like, okay, if it was a beach one, like on an island, I think I could survive. Not because it's on a beach on an island. I would say I could survive because, like, islands like Puerto Rico and Hawaii, they don't have, like, super poisonous creatures.
But
they
what
don't
would
have
you
predators.
eat?
They don't have predators. I would try to, like, fish. And, like, I caught a crab with my bare hands once. So
And could you imagine
survive.
me not being able to take a shower? Like, no.
Absolutely not. Although the salt water would be really good for your, like, it would be really good for my face. I would get, like, probably clear skin. I just need to know all the details. Like, Isaac and I talk about this all the time. And I told Isaac I'm going to take him to, like, survival classes so he can learn these skills. And he's all about it. So I think that the day that we can hopefully get Macy on this podcast, like, I need all the details so I can tell Isaac.
Oh my gosh. No. You always talk about how you need to lose like X amount of pounds or whatever.
I need to lose 40 pounds or I'm going to get diabetes.
Kail, you're not going to get diabetes. Like,
I'm on the verge. So I feel like, and also if I learn these survival skills and went on Naked and Afraid, I would probably lose those 40 pounds.
Yeah, like I feel like you really would. If you were out there for that long, I feel like you would come back and you would just be like rail thin.
All jokes aside though, those people, even the ones that don't make it all 21 days are fucking badass because like I give them so much credit. I don't think that I could do it. Like I joke about it, but I don't think I could. I know I couldn't
do it for like even one day. Could you just imagine? I would be so bored. Like, I feel like I constantly have to be doing something or being like productive. I would just feel like, even though I would be surviving technically, I just feel like that's a bit non-productive for me. So
non-productive.
I don't know.
Have to be out in the wilderness, actively seeking water, shelter, food. Like it rains.
I'm not doing all that. Like
so
I'm
you
not
wouldn't be
volunteering.
Bored. My biggest thing, I think, would be I don't do well without sleep. So like sleep deprivation for me is you might as well like no. It's just a no for me. So I think the sleeping on rocks and sticks and stuff, that would be really hard. And I would just be a miserable cunt the whole time.
That just wouldn't be something that I would ever voluntarily sign up for.
Well, I think
like,
I would.
That's the thing.
I need to know what Macy, if you're listening to this, we need to get you on this podcast. I need you to describe to me all of the details, what classes, survival classes I need to take because I'm about to do this. Well, actually, they probably won't pick me ever, but I mean, I could pretend in my backyard.
How did Macy get picked? That's what I want to know.
I don't know because I was trying to do it for the longest time, but my agent said no because they don't pay. And so if they don't pay, then she doesn't get paid. So she's like, I can't pitch you for that show. And I was like, oh, okay.
Okay, fine.
Like I was low key disappointed, but also it's like, okay, well, Macy's such a badass. Like I don't know.
Well, speaking of Will watching Naked and Afraid, I have a few stories about Will from this past week. And then also a lot of people have been posting on our podcast Instagram. Obviously, like our podcast Instagram is popping because there's a lot of stuff going on over there. However, a lot of people have been asking if we can interview him on our podcast.
So are we gonna?
So I asked him if he wanted to be on our podcast, and he's like indifferent. He's like, I don't really care. Like, I will, but I don't think he really. So I told him that a lot of people were requesting for
an interview,
like you to be able to interview us. And so he's like, okay. It's like indifferent. Like, it wouldn't like make or break his life. If he came on Coffee Combos, it would be fine. Or if he didn't, then he would like also be fine. But Jackson's begging to come on Coffee Combos. And he's told everybody that will listen that we have a podcast, and that my podcast is with my friend Kail, and that we talk about all kinds of sayings that are like mom sayings. And he said that we talk about babies and
toys.
That he didn't really know what else. Yeah.
When we were when you were a kid, toys when you were a kid.
Oh yeah, he wants to talk about whenever I was a kid, because he loves to hear about like whenever I was growing up and I was a little kid like him. He loves to hear stories. So he wants to talk about that stuff. So I think we really should have the kids on. I think we should interview them, and I think that I'll get Will on when we get back from spring break to let you interview us.
Oh my gosh, I would love to know what y'all's most embarrassing stories are. Like, I want to know his favorite memory of you and his most embarrassing memory of you.
Yeah. I mean, I don't really know. I'm not really that much of an embarrassing person, I don't feel like. So, or like I don't put myself in situations to be embarrassed. But maybe he'll have one. Maybe like he'll have one that I don't remember or something. I'm sure he does. I have plenty of embarrassing stories. I will save.
I would love to ask him about your cleaning and your OCD and stuff like that. Like, how does he feel about that? Is he also an OCD, like, germaphobe, or?
He can talk about me for like probably a solid hour and make fun of me. So I think it would be a good thing. And I can just kind of like take the back seat and let you guys roast me for a solid hour. And I'm fine with it.
Oh my gosh, we have to do that. I haven't ever met Will, so it'll be fun for me to pick his brain a little bit before I ever meet him. And he'll probably think I'm nuts before I ever meet him, which is fine.
Well, I mean, who cares? Everybody thinks we're nuts. So like, I'm fine with it. Actually, he's the one who's nuts because he fights in Little League. Like, I know that you said baseball wasn't, like very competitive there, but here is, and they actually,
not as kids,
they go through a draft. Like, even at 5 years old, the coaches go one evening and they draft the kids. Like, they have first round draft picks. Like, it's
at 5 years old.
At 5 years old, like it's crazy. In the South, I think baseball is just so much different. But I would think that you would think stuff like that would kind of be like similar, as far as like how they.
Like, what is it? Because Isaac's 8 and he's been playing baseball for the past 2 or 3 years, and they don't literally at 8 years old, they're still letting every single person on the team bat, and they're not keeping score. So maybe it's the type of like league that he's in.
Yeah, like what type of league does Isaac play in? Does he play for the county?
No, he plays Little League.
Little League, yeah. Like Jackson plays Dizzy Dean, like Little League. So maybe it's just different here, but it's so serious. Like do they have practice or just games?
So here they'll have like a month or two, I want to say, of just the practices. And then once like a certain date hits, it's only games.
Okay, so it's kind of similar to us then, because it's almost like 4 or 5 weeks before the season like kicks off, they have weekly practices. And then once the season starts, then they play games. But like this particular week, we had 3 games, which is kind of abnormal. Normally we have a weekday game and then a Saturday game.
Same. That's the same as us.
There was a rain out.
Oh.
There was a rain out from the week before, so it got pushed into this week. So we literally had baseball Wednesday, Thursday, and today. So it was a lot, for a 5-year-old. And Jackson has always kind of felt like one of the youngest on his teams and his school class. So he's much smaller than a lot of the kids on the team. A lot of the kids are almost like they're right at turning 6, and he just turned 5 4 days after Christmas. So you wouldn't think that it was that big of a range, but it's crazy the difference. The kids that are almost 6 right now, next year, they'll play up to the next team, like the next group, and then Jackson will be like the older one next year. Right. But it's just funny to watch because, you know, Will played D1 ball, and so to watch him get out on the field and get competitive playing Little League, like he's asking people like, oh, have you ever played baseball before? Like, have you ever watched have you ever watched a major league game before? And I'm thinking to myself, oh my God, why are you asking this man if he's ever watched a major league game? Like, where are we going to get with this conversation? I think it's because the rules of Little League is a little bit different than like the actual real rules of baseball as far as like running rules. Right. So Will makes his team go off of not Little League rules, but rules that would apply when they move up to the next age group and how they're going to actually have to play baseball, and not the way that they can kind of like cheat their way of running right now. And so he feels like other teams, when they don't make their kids play real baseball, then Will says that they're cheating, which technically they're not cheating because it is the rules of Little League. But I do understand Will's side of it, that he wants to teach them how to like actually play the real game. Because when they go to the next level, then they're going to have to like be retaught on how, like what the rules are. So, I mean, I get it from both sides, but it's kind of funny to watch him get frustrated because Will's like a really calm person and he's not high strung at all. Like he's totally opposite personality as me. Like I let everything bother me and I wear like my heart on my sleeves, and Will is nothing bothers him. Like literally our wall could cave in and he would be like, oh shit, I should probably fix that. And I would be like, oh my God, we've got to like fix it right now. We've got to like call 911 in case like there's an emergency.
And he's just not like that.
Yeah, he's just totally different personality, which is good because you definitely couldn't have like 2 me's or 2 hims or 2 of him. So yeah, it works, but yeah, he gets on my nerves sometimes too.
I struggle with, so all my kids play, well, I shouldn't say all of them. 2 out of 3 kids, they play sports. We do jiu-jitsu, basketball, baseball, and soccer. I struggle with baseball the most because I don't know if it's maybe the age that they're at. I think if it was more like what Jackson's doing, it would be probably better for me and Isaac, because right now Isaac even struggles with it. He's like, like he wants to play baseball, but then when he gets there, he's like, it's so slow because they wait for everybody on the team to bat. They kind of don't really, it's not really fast paced.
Wait,
like,
so you're saying like even if they get 3 outs, like they don't play by that rule. Everybody, every inning gets to bat?
Yes.
No, we do not play like that. Like it is, the rules here are you get 5 pitches. That's the maximum amount of pitches that you get, 5. If you swing at 3, obviously you're out like regular baseball. But if you swing at 2 and then you don't swing at 1, you still get a maximum of 5 pitches as long as you don't swing at the first 3 pitches. So it's 3 outs, 3 outs, and then you switch.
Yeah, for us, they don't do that. They wait for every single person on the team to bat. And so it's not fast-paced enough for Isaac. And then he's frustrated, so I get frustrated, and it's like I want him to play, and I know he would want to play if it was more. I know baseball as a whole is like kind of like it's like a long game. It's, it's 9 innings or whatever. I know, but I think if it was a little bit more, 3 strikes and you're out type deal, switch, that would be great. And I think Isaac would be more involved, but I think he just gets so like bored with it, where he loves basketball, he loves jiu-jitsu, soccer sometimes, but it's like pretty repetitive. So I don't know. I try to tell him that he's got to try everything until he figures out what he really likes. But Lincoln has no
You'll
desire
have
to play.
you'll have to tell me about soccer because Jackson wants to play in the fall. So we're going to let him play baseball in the spring and soccer in the fall, at least to try it, just to see if he likes it. And he loves to play with me. We'll go to the park and just like kick around. But this will be his first, when fall comes around, it'll be his first soccer season. So it'll be interesting to see the different dynamic. The thing I will say is that is a little frustrating that everybody hits every inning because that's also completely unrealistic. Yeah. And that is not the rules of baseball at all. I will say, I do the dugout for our team. Obviously, my husband coaches, so I'm in the dugout, and I try to keep it organized, make sure the kids know, keep your hats and your gloves in your bag if you're batting, have your helmet on, be ready to go on the field in the event that you are going to bat. We have a lineup, on the fence, and they know exactly, what the batting order is, and they sit on the bench semi in that order. We've got some scragglers and my child's one of them a lot of the times, but it's very functional and it's organized. And it's a lot more fast paced once they kind of get down that, hey, this is what we're going to be doing and this is what's expected. Then they're very quick. They will sling their bats and helmets and put it in the bag and get their hats and gloves and they're on the field. And it was very fast today. I feel like they're coming together more as a team as we've played, a few games. They're just coming together more. But it's funny to see them develop just over a few games. And when they start, kids love structure. And that's what people don't understand is you're not being mean to a child when you're telling them, what to do, or if you're a little harsh with them. That's not being mean. That's just trying to get them to a point of this is what's going to be expected of you at the next level. So just go ahead and do it. Set yourself up so that you can learn. So when you get there next year, you're not like a bobo, acting like a doofus in the dugout.
You don't know what's going on. Right.
Yeah. And the thing with the hats too, I try to teach them, keep them in your bag whenever you come in, just because of lice and stuff, Just keep your hats. Your names are in your hats. Keep them in your bags. Get your hats and gloves. It keeps everything organized. Everybody knows how I am about organization. It's not functional if it's not organized. I sent you the picture of the dugout today, and you were like, did you do that? And then I was kind of embarrassed to text back, yes, I did.
I didn't know if it was you or not, or if the kids actually just listened and actually did it. So I wasn't sure.
Yeah, but it's funny because as you teach them, they come in and they automatically today was the first day that we've had several games and just kind of drilling it into them. When you come off the field, hats and gloves in the bags, grab your bats, hats and gloves in the bags, grab your bats, over and over again. And so today was the first day that they actually came in and acted like they had done this before, so it was nice. It was a nice change of pace, and we actually got our first little league win of the season. So that was nice.
That's so cool that you guys keep score and record and stuff. Isaac's 8 and they don't do that. So I'm hoping that maybe this year when he plays that and I'm surprised ours hasn't started yet if y'all have started already.
Well, and it's kind of funny because I've noticed it Jackson's age group that he's playing in right now. At the age group before, they didn't care about the score. But this age group, it's kind of where they're getting to, okay, are we winning or are we losing? And then I definitely feel when they get to the 7-8 age group, they're really going to care if they won or if they lost. I
don't know. I'll let you know in a couple weeks when Isaac starts, but right now, I don't know.
Okay, and so this is another thing while we're talking about sports. How do y'all do snacks for the various sports?
The various sports or just for each sport? So there's usually a team mom who will, not teen mom, team mom, will assign a parent every week. Okay, so I tried to last season because obviously I'm the room mom in Jackson's class, team mom for baseball.
Maybe that should be our new show, Team Mom.
Team Mom.
So obviously, you know, my husband coaches, so naturally that just kind of falls on my lap. So I don't even think about it. You know, it's just like something that I've done since Jackson's been playing for the past 2 seasons. And nobody really volunteers to do it either. So that's also the thing. And it is, you know, kind of like a job. I don't get to just like sit on the bleacher and watch my kids. Sometimes I wish that I could, but then I probably would wish if I was on the bleachers that I was in the dugout. So I you know, I enjoy it, and it's fun to have the interaction with the kids and be involved with them. But the snack thing, last season when Jackson played spring baseball, I put, you know how organized I am. So I put all the kids' names on a spreadsheet, took it to the field, and like had people sign up. You know, I put kids' names and then I put dates of games. So I had people sign up for snacks. And I told every parent that was there, hey, I have a sign-up sheet. If y'all could just make sure you go by the sign-up sheet and put your name, I'll send out a spreadsheet so nobody forgets. So it'll be like a reminder for your snack or whatever. Mm-hmm. Kail, literally two people out of the whole team signed up, and nobody else did. So I had to bring snacks for the rest of the time, which I don't really care. You know, like it's just snacks. Like I don't care, but it's just like, I wish people would dip into the clue bag and realize like, hey, my kid's also playing, so I should also give something. Like, we're not being paid to do this. This is just, you know, something that we're doing because we enjoy doing it. We enjoy having the interaction with our child. Like, we enjoy being able to help, you know, other little kids and be involved with them. And it's just something that we do. So I'm definitely not complaining about it. I enjoy it. But I just wish parents would be like a little bit more proactive about it.
That happened to us several times. I'm not a team mom at all. I've never been one because I didn't even know that was a thing until last year, actually. It kind of was just always like already the coach's wife or the coach's girlfriend, or it was just like already, like it wasn't a thing for them, for like me to like volunteer because it was already assigned before. You know what I'm trying to say? So
Yeah.
But they
kind of like me, you know, like I'm
like it fell
I'm just
in your
like
lap,
naturally
kind of.
the person.
So it was kind of like that.
Yeah.
And so like they would always assign, you know, snack or whatever, or they would sign up or whatever. We would always bring our snack. But I think several times they didn't bring snacks. And I mean, it's whatever, because a lot of the times for us, it's around the games are around dinner time, or on Saturdays they're around lunchtime. So I'm like, I don't even I'm like, all right, let's just go. Let's just get to the next place that we have to be. But it is, I could see how that's frustrating when you're constantly like reminding, you're the one that's kind of doing all the work. So it's kind of frustrating when no one's signing up. Like, okay, if, you know, a parent doesn't have the money for it or doesn't have it won't be at that game. Okay, I understand. But also, come on, guys, step it up a little bit.
Well, yeah. And I mean, definitely, obviously, like I don't want to be involved in people's financial, you know, information.
I didn't mean it like that.
But you know what I mean? Like, even if they couldn't afford it and they didn't sign up, I wouldn't be like, oh, you didn't sign up, or like tell somebody that they didn't sign up. But just like, hey, let me know, you know, like if you can't provide snacks, you don't even have to give me a reason, like why you can't just say,
like let
hey,
you know.
Yeah, like just say, hey, I can't sign up for snacks this season. You know, I can offer my time in the dugout or, you know, something like that, but I can't offer it this season, or whatever. And then I just sign up. Like, I will bring snacks out of the games. I will bring snacks 3 times this season. Everybody else, I assigned 1 game. Like, obviously I don't care, you know, it's not that big of a deal. I just wish some people were a little bit more proactive and knew kind of, it almost makes you feel like they don't really know what's going on and they don't answer emails. It's like, I know I look at my email every day. Does everybody not look at their email every day?
I don't think so.
You know?
Yeah, like, no, I get it.
Geez. So we're kind of running out of time, but I wanted to give everybody an update on what we have going on. So do you want to tell everybody about what we're going to try to do in New York?
So over the next couple of weeks, we are trying to plan out a New York City trip for hopefully the same time as the Teen Mom 2 reunion, which I'm hoping for the end of May, middle of May. And I think we're going to have Chelsea on the podcast. So, and Cole is more than welcome to join us. So, we're going to try to get Lindsie to come to New York, and I'm going to bring her on the Teen Mom 2 reunion set as my guest. Because I don't know if anyone who's listening knows, but, you know, me, Leah, Chelsea, Janelle, we always bring people with us because obviously we either need help with the kids or, you know, it's kind of nice just to have like a supportive person because you never know what they're going to bring up at these freaking reunions. So I'm going to bring Lindsie with me, and we're going to record coffee combos with Chelsea, and hopefully it'll be a good time. I mean, Leah will be there. We can always record another episode with her if we want, I'm sure. Or maybe whatever happens, but I'm super excited.
And maybe we'll get Larry on too, because I know that.
Oh my God, yes, we need Larry.
He had expressed interest on being on the podcast, and I think it would be kind of cool to get a production side of reality TV, just to let people in on that side of it.
Yes.
And I think the back and forth with Larry between us would be
hilarious.
Because we have a totally different, we have a totally different perspective on probably everything.
I call Larry for everything, for good things, for bad things, when I want to bitch about something. He's just great, and I'm sure I drive him to drink, I'm sure. Like, his wife probably hates me because I probably make him want to consume
Larry's wife has a hit out on you.
Oh, I'm sure. I literally said that I'm going to produce a show called Life of Larry, and I would be curious to know if any of the other cast calls him and bitches or just vents or whatever, like, as much as I do. Like, I'll be like, literally, the last text I sent him was, when is the reunion? Like, can you give me, like, an estimate? And, like, if he doesn't answer me right away, I'll text him again, like, hey, Larry, just following up. Do you have any idea when the reunion's going to be? Or, like, I don't know. I'll ask him if he's going to wear a bug suit. I'm trying to get him to film my trip to Jamaica because they filmed my trip to Hawaii with Leah, but for whatever reason, they can't film my trip to Jamaica with the kids. So I'll, like, call Larry and, like, bitch at him because I obviously want to show some of the stuff with me and the kids, because then people think that I go on vacation all the time without my kids. And so I, just bitch and vent to him all the time. But yeah, no, that would be really good if we could get him to, like, be on the podcast. Lindsie and Larry, Life with Lindsie and Larry.
Yes, that would be great. Okay, well, it's been great talking to you, and I can't wait to catch up next week. And thank you guys for listening. We appreciate all of the support. You guys following us on our Instagram and staying up to date with everything that we have going on. We've been a little bit more proactive trying to put our sponsor information, because I know that's been a question that we've gotten a lot over our email and stuff like that about sponsorship codes and stuff. So I'm in the process of making highlight icons for the Instagram page so that you guys can easily find the sponsorship codes on the Instagram to be able to go back to them. And actually, as far as our sponsors are concerned, any sponsor that we have on our podcast are things that we are using. So we appreciate all the support. Make sure you leave us a 5-star review on iTunes and nice comments. That would be nice. And we will see you guys next week.
All right, guys, that's a wrap. Talk to you next week.
This podcast is brought to you by Wave Podcast Network. Check out all of our shows, including the Brain Candy Podcast, I Don't Get It, Babes and Babies, Coffee Convos, and Let's Talk About It.